Welcome to the Retire with Peace podcast, the podcast where we help you create a fulfilling and stress-free retirement. Each week, we bring you expert advice, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you plan and live your best retirement life. Whether you're nearing retirement or already enjoying your golden years, this podcast is here to support you every step of the way. Let's embark on this journey together and discover how to retire with peace.
Welcome back to the Retire with Peace podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dave Zaegel. Today, we're going to talk about Roth IRAs again, because why not? They're awesome. We're going to talk about how we have seen firsthand the power and flexibility that they provide just in tax planning and being able to save a ton on taxes, even more than the discussion on tax rates, which we've talked about. We talked in our last episode about how really the big difference is what's your tax rate now, what's your tax rate going to be in the future. But even more than that, there's an extra layer, and we have specific examples from a lot of the tax planning that we've been doing recently. We do a ton of this in the fall and early winter time as we're coming up on the end of the year, because we're not only planning for this year, sometimes we're planning for next year or the next couple of years. And we've really gotten to see firsthand that power and that flexibility that Roth IRAs provide. The example that I will use that we've seen this year specifically are for a lot of our clients who have retired a little bit early to where they are not yet on Medicare. So they're having to find their own health insurance through the health insurance exchange or through using an agent. But either way, they're having to go through the Affordable Care Act insurance. And typically that's totally fine. We plan for that. We talk about how, yes, you're still able to retire before you get on Medicare. We just need to plan for that additional insurance cost. And it's not a problem. For this upcoming year, for 2026, as some of you might know, the additional subsidy for those health insurance plans is going away. So there was a subsidy put in place back in 2020 during COVID time. It was set to expire at the end of this year, and it is expiring. Unless Congress does something, which is still possible, we don't know. But as of right now, that is just assumed to be expired, unless they do something in 2026 itself to revive it. So now, instead of that being just an extra cost, now it's an extra cost if we don't plan appropriately. The subsidy is based on your income. So at some point, the subsidy just completely goes away. But as your income goes up, the subsidy gets less and less, and then it just drops to zero, which gets really expensive. So as we've had these clients of ours on this affordable health insurance plan over the years, we've planned out what their income is going to be each year, and that works just fine. And we can then decide, do we want to do a larger Roth IRA conversion and forego the subsidy, or do we want to be at a lower level and get a subsidy? And there's no right or wrong answer per se. It really does depend on the individual's circumstances and what the plan is. But the example for this year, as we head into 2026, as we've seen several instances now where it's going to be a difference of tens of thousands of dollars if we left their taxable income at the same level. And that would be a really heavy tax hit at an income level. Let's say, just for example's sake, let's say the income level is $100,000. If we left it there instead of dropping it down, it would be tens of thousands of dollars for that year in extra insurance premium, that's gigantic difference. So instead of incurring that, because we have Roth IRAs in place and we've been doing conversions for these clients over time, now we have a bucket to pull from. Now that Roth IRA, I can already hear some people screaming, saying, no, that's supposed to be for long-term, don't touch it. That's partially true. A lot of the reason for doing the conversion is because we were saying, hey, we're in low tax brackets now. In the future, probably the distant future, tax rates might be higher. We want to take that risk off. We want that flexibility whenever we're taking RMDs and doing other things down the road. However, we also want that flexibility now. We can get a tax savings now. It doesn't always have to be 10 years down the road, 20 years from now. It can be, we did Roth conversions for the last 4 years. And now, because of this tax law change with the health insurance subsidy, we get to save money right now. We don't have to wait. We don't have to pay that extra $10,000 of insurance premiums. We can plan right now. That is just super powerful, super flexible. And now we can say, okay, we need to bring our income down to continue getting the subsidy so we don't have this huge spike in expense for really no good reason. Nothing else changed other than the tax law rules around the health insurance subsidy and how they've connected health insurance to tax laws. Don't get me started on that. That's a topic for another day. But that was a decade and a half ago. So anyway, tangent. But now the point being, we can control this because we've set up a Roth IRA over time by giving the government their tax money when the tax rates were low. Now we can save money in the future, and the future is now. Of course, we're still going to have plenty of money left in these Roth IRAs for longer term tax benefits. We're not depleting the Roth IRAs. We're just using a piece of them to say we're going to bring our taxable income down by taking less out of the traditional IRA now, because we need our tax to be at a lower level to get the subsidy, or we're going to supplement the rest with a portion of a Roth IRA. That is power. That is flexibility. That is an amazing way to be able to use the tools and the strategies that we've been putting in place for years with Roth IRA conversions to benefit right now from changes in tax law. So as you're doing these Roth IRA conversions and kind of painfully paying the tax, because I know that's not fun. It's not fun to send money off to the government. I know we all try to delay that as long as possible. But being able to get that debt off the retirement accounts and just paid to the government and get it to a spot where it's not going to be taxed anymore, it's really amazing. So take those opportunities to pay taxes while your rates are lower and give yourself the power and flexibility to be able to use that for your benefit later, even if later is right now.